Hey everybody, this is Jason Dill, and I'm joined as always by David Wilson here on the Bradenton Blitz, your weekly fix on the high school sports landscape and other assorted sporting activities that go on here in the community in Manatee County. Varsity 24/7 is where you can get your high school sports news on the app, and Bradenton.com/sports is where you can go as well to check out the latest in high school sports in Manatee County. And we have a special kind of edition this week. We're going to talk about National Signing Day because we had some kids that decided to make some late commitments to their various school choices. I was covering the Braden River commitment of Ryan Newsel, the tight end that's joining teammate Jacob Huseman at Appalachian State. Pretty good move for him. And you got the chance to track down some Manatee High kids that decided to make some late commitments.
Yeah, a couple of Manatee High kids. Trayvon Rumpf committed to Savannah State. A couple of days later, Octavius James, who now is at Palmetto, played with Rumpf for a few years, though, at Manatee before transferring. Joining him at Savannah State. Nick Knoll, the kicker and punter for Manatee, committed to Cornell as a punter. So it's been, you kind of expect everything to trickle out during these last few days. Obviously, National Signing Day on Wednesday. So that's when everything becomes official. But
even
the Savannah State, and we're seeing kind of pipelines, right? Appalachian State, 2 kids from Braden River. Savannah State, 2 kids from the area, and Cavius Price visited. It's always fun to see these guys try to continue playing together and try to win together at the next level.
Well, and one of those pipelines for a long time was 2 other schools, which is New Mexico Military Institute. That place has gotten a lot of kids over the years.
Yeah, there'll be more this year.
Right, exactly. It's a good little training ground for kids to get into the college.
A JUCO
right. We saw it with Ferris State, with Jawan Pollock and Antonio Aguars and Willie Smith and Marquis Dawsey, I believe was another one. All 4 of those kids from their Manatee High kids, they ended up at Ferris State. It's another one. And of course, when Willie Taggart was at Western Kentucky,
right,
a lot of kids from across the 941 area code here in Manatee, Charlotte, and Sarasota counties, as well as just in Manatee County itself. A lot of schools sent their kids to Western Kentucky to play for Willie Taggart. That pipeline has kind of dried up now that he left.
Right.
So, yeah, you do see that. And I feel like, but the more important thing, though, is that when signing day happens, it's just the first day that people have to realize.
Right.
It's not the only day that you're going to have college signings. So, somebody that's getting in the late recruiting aspect kind of blows up. Braden River is a great example of this. They had a team that just went on unstoppable during the regular season, went undefeated for back-to-back years, got to a state semifinal game, and all of a sudden college kids, they had 3 kids that were going Division I, Alex Salguero for Marshall, JoJo Lewis at FIU, and also going to FIU was Jacob Huseman until he had the late flip to switch to Appalachian State. So you had 3 kids going to FIU or Division I programs, but the rest of the team was really, really good.
Yeah, and they start to pick it up.
And now they're starting to pick up some of those offers from different college coaches that see them go on this playoff run and get a chance to see them at practice. There were a lot more college coaches last year during spring practice, as well as the summer workouts before the season started. So it's starting to kind of change at certain schools locally to develop some of these kids, and you're going to see that with some of these late recruitments going on. I mean, Ryan Newsel picked up 12 different college offers.
Yeah, it seemed like in 2 weeks.
Exactly. That's the point, yeah.
Right.
So it's quite interesting to see how it all develops. And again, it's just the first day. So you might see some more kids after the first day, which is National Signing Day on next Wednesday, February 3rd, that start picking up offers and can go on from there and sign at a later date. It's also a signal that just because you sign doesn't necessarily mean you're going to end up at that school. There are a lot of times cases happen across the country of kids signing with a Division I program or a high-profile program. They don't qualify for grades and whatnot, or something else happens, trouble off the field and what have you, and they don't end up at the school. So it's not necessarily – it's kind of become a spectacle with ESPNU and some of the other recruiting type aspects that go on with it. But people want to know who's got the top class going into next year's college football scene.
Yeah, and you mentioned guys who can commit still after the day. That's typically a lot of times when you'll see, the Division II or smaller school kids, which a lot of the kids in the area are. Not everyone is going to, powerhouse programs. So, while, like you mentioned, National Signing Day is the one to look at, but obviously not the end of the road.
No, and a lot of kids, some kids, especially if we look at IMG Academy, a lot of those kids have already early enrolled.
Right.
Jack Allison
is already down in Coral Gables.
Is another one that early enrolled. So some of these kids have already early enrolled to get an extra head start. to make that transition to college and that extra semester. And a lot more kids are doing that, so that's big too. So next week we'll have a full scoop on who actually signed where and when and all that here on the Bradenton Blitz. But until next time, this is Jason Dill for David Wilson. And if you need to catch us, RC247 is the app, Bradenton.com/sports for all the latest news and notes. So until next time, we'll catch you on the flip side.